All right, everybody, welcome back to the Nick and Izzy show. That's Izzy Richardson. I'm Nick Morgeson. We're back. How's everybody doing today? How you doing, Izzy?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good, brother. Actually, by the way, there was some crazy stuff going on in this world, actually, and we're going to be talking about nothing but fun stuff today.
Yes, no politics, no BS. We're not going to talk about negative things. Izzy and I talked about because the last couple episodes have been a little out there, so to speak. So we wanted to get away from that BS. So in today's episode, we're gonna get an surgery update from Izzy. He went to the doctor today. We'll talk about that. We'll get into my crazy curtails at Penn Station the other night, and we'll get into some other stories, including a new app that apparently can register cat language from meowing, and also, and for kids, because this is late night with Nick and Izzy, kids beware. According to Pornhub, what each state was looking up during the presidential election. But first, we're going to start with an Izzy surgery update. So go ahead. Tell us what's going on.
Oh, yes, brothers and sisters. So I went to the doctor today, and some of you that may not know, because I know we have a lot of new people here. And by the way, thanks for liking our page, too. My doctor said everything with my surgery is going well so far. The bones are fusing, which is a really good thing because that's exactly like what we were kind of hoping for. And yeah, I'll be out of my cast in about 3 weeks. And I can not personally wait because this has been something that's been really challenging being in this cast and all. It really has been. But I'm doing good.
Yeah, I'm glad you're doing better. And I know you've been kind of cooped up sitting in the house. And, well, you've been driving, which I find crazy, by the way, that you're driving on your foot being all almost unfused and now defused. But yeah, I'm glad to see you're getting around. And actually, if you're looking for something really good, the Izzy's Daily Inspiration, which we're going to put up on our Nick and Izzy YouTube channel, if you want to check those videos out, you've actually been doing really well with those, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much, brother. Yeah, because we gotta like spread the positivity. It's like just I feel like I'm all about love and spreading positive vibes. Just keeping that cool flow, laid back flow moving. I love that.
But yeah, so you're feeling good, which is great, and hopefully you said you'll be back at the radio station. Remember, if you're just joining us for the first time, and a lot of you are joining us for the first time, we're up over 400 likes and follows. Thank you to everybody who's been following us and liking us. And if you're looking for us, it's on the bottom of the screen at Nick and Izzy on Twitter and on Facebook. And if you want to email us, nickandizzy@gmail.com if you want to tell us your crazy stories.
Oh, so, definitely.
But I'm glad to see you're doing better. And now from you doing better to me going crazy the other night. So
what happened though, brother? Because it's so funny. I was on the phone with you the other night. We always talk before we do the show. And he mentioned something about when he was in New York City, like something wild went down.
Well, it's not that it's wild, but like I always take the Uber back when I leave the radio station, because most of my shifts are 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. And then I get on the Uber and I say, all right, take me to Penn Station, please. So I make it there just in time. So I'm running through Penn Station. And you know how like you run into that, you're not thinking 100%. And basically what happens is you're like, oh, I see 2 trains. And you accidentally get on the idle train, which is not going anywhere.
Right.
So I run and it's like, yes, I made it to the train. I'm out of breath. I'm wearing a mask. Because, when you run around through Penn Station wearing a mask, it's like impossible to breathe. So now I'm looking at my phone to see if I made it on time. I'm like, yeah, okay. So I was on an 11:39 train. I'm like, it's 11:43. This train is still not moved. And then I realized, crap, I got on the track of the one to the left.
No freaking way. Oh, my God. That's like the worst when you got on the wrong train. Because a lot of the times, too, and this is for, if you're a classic New Yorker, I'm sure you probably know if you get on the wrong train, you live in the tri-state area, usually that means like a couple hours of waiting, or you have to call like an Uber or someone to take you back home. That's the freaking worst.
So I'm like, okay, why is the train not moving? And then I realized I got out and I said, crap, I got on the wrong track. I went to the wrong track. It was the one to the right down there. It's not like it was all the way over. It was the track right next to the one that I was on. And I'm like, I was like, poop. And I was like, great. Like, now I got on the wrong train. Now I have to go back upstairs. And I had to wait until 12:20. I was supposed to be on 11:39 train. Now I have to wait till 12:20. Like, crap. And I'm like, oh, good. And what did I tell you, Izzy, over the phone? I said, I feel like I had an old person moment right there.
I know you were probably just like, oh, like it is bad. I mean, let me tell you something though. Like when I was working above MSG, brothers and sisters, it was out of control.
When we were both there, yeah.
Right, when you and I were both there, Nick. And you know, it's funny because sometimes when they would have like a Billy Joel concert or they would have something like an MSG, we were right upstairs above that. So a lot of times I would have to leave early because my train would go back to New Jersey from Manhattan at 11:06. So I would have to fly my ass all the way from the 17th floor all the way down by MSG with all these people trying to zigzag my way through. And it was like a maze, guys. It was like we were freaking sardines. And there was one time I actually ended up missing the train because I guess there was so many people trying to get down there, and the one conductor was just like, "We can't take no more people. We can't take no more people."
I've been there. I know that feeling, especially going towards the city when we've had incidents before where there's delays or there's big events going on. Which, excuse me, as I'm choking up. I'm good. I'm having an Izzy moment right there. Like if you go back to our last episode, you could see how Izzy had a moment right as we were going on the air last week.
I'm telling you, so bad though. I mean, I got to really work on my acid reflexes. I try.
Long story short, like when you have a Met game right at Citi Field, that's when you would feel like you're a package of sardines going to the city. When I was going to the station. And like there was no, it was like standing room only. I'd be holding I remember I used to tell you I'd be holding a heavy backpack on my back and standing for 45 minutes.
Right.
And basically it would just be a pain in the ass. So I know what you're talking about, where you get stuck. I remember one of our other coworkers, Rich, remember he used to say like, I need to get out of here before the concerts go. And you and I would be fine with that because you want to get down there before the crowds. It was nuts.
And it's so crazy too, though, brother, because I remember like one day, but I gotta tell you too, though, sometimes it's actually good when there's like a lot of big crowds of people trying to get on the train that you're trying to get on, because there's been moments to where like there's been so many people trying to open the doors when I left Madison Square Garden in Manhattan to where it was just like they would leave actually at like 11:10 when they were supposed to leave at like 11:06 because people are just trying to constantly get in. And then if you're able to sneak your way in there, that's a good thing, though, because that means you got on the train. I mean, the other people, I mean, you don't want to really, like, hit nobody, but I don't know, sometimes it's like you have to just try to scoot your way in there. New York is crazy when it comes to mass transit. I mean,
by the way, people who are not watching this in New York, so if you're watching this all over the country, you've never been in New York before, it is crazy down in Penn Station. Trying to get you going back to New Jersey, me going back to Long Island, or vice versa, coming back to this, going to Penn Station in the city. It is crazy trying to get back.
And I remember one time, brother, and I think I told you the story actually when I was headed into the city, and it was like a Friday night, and there were this two people. Actually, there were a couple, I believe they were. Yeah, I think they were. This guy and this girl. Now, mind you, they were from Florida. So they were standing up on the train. They didn't really know what was going on. And they came over to me and were asking me some questions. They were like, so does this train go into New York City? And I was like, oh, yeah, we're going to go right into Penn Station soon. They're like, oh, thank you so much. No, we're from Florida. We don't really know what's going on. And I'm just like, yeah. So when you get into Penn Station, there's going to be other trains when you walk upstairs. And the guy was just like, wait, what? Like, and I start laughing from like out of state people that come to New York City because it really does take a little time to get used to like the kind of vibe that's in Manhattan because it's a very interesting vibe. You have a lot of cool people, and then you have some people who, unfortunately, when you look at them and say good morning, they don't even want to be bothered. They just look at you and just go back on their phone or whatever they're doing. And then it was so amazing because when we got to Penn Station, I directed them upstairs and when we got upstairs, they were like, "Whoa, what is all this?" And I was like, "Yeah, so if you want to go to like downtown Manhattan, you can go down by the subway. You can take the A train or the E train." This guy looked at me. He was just like, "Huh?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be all right though." But I hope they made it around New Manhattan safely though, because the girl looked at me too, and she was like, "Well, we wanted to thank you so much for your kindness, but we're gonna do our best to like get around here because this is crazy." I was like, "Yeah," I said, "This is a lot different." I'm sure probably than like what Florida is, even though I've never been to Florida, but
It's so crazy though, and I'll tell you a quick story. I told this to Izzy as well. Like I told you about a story where someone had one of those shoulder bags, and someone swiped me with their shoulder bag. They had a cell phone in one hand and a BlackBerry in another. It was one of those obnoxious businessmen walking around with the shoulder bag, and they swiped me once, and then all of a sudden, when I went to get off the train, they freaking swiped me again with the bag.
oh my
And
gosh.
So I grabbed the person by the bag and I said, if you hit me with this bag one more time, I'm going to wrap it around your neck.
Damn, Nick, that was almost like a threat.
No, but I was getting pissed because he kept swiping me with his bag. He was the all-important businessman with the big fancy suit and the two phones. And I'm all important. Hey, I'm all important. I'm fancy businessman. And I'm like, okay, I don't really give a shit, to be quite honest. But yeah, so just be careful when you're out there and try to be kind to one another, as Izzy would say, and try not to cause a fight. Because you never know what people will do. But all right, let's move on to some more fun stuff. Because as we said in this episode, we're staying away from politics. We're staying away from COVID. We are having fun this episode. So,
and also future ones to come too, because all that other crap we can't.
Don't worry about it. So, speaking of weird and odd and ridiculous, I shared this story with Izzy last night, and he looked at me in such a way when I brought this story up. And it has to do, it's a story out of the New York Post. There we go. Thank you. Crazy porn searches by state. And this was during election week. So tell everybody what your reaction was when I first told you about this story.
Oh my gosh. It was out of control because let me tell you something. When it comes down to getting into the bedroom and getting romantic with someone, I'm sure a lot of you know too. Some people are really freaky when it comes down to like sex and what they want to do with certain things. And I'm over here like reading what Nick's like sending me from the New York Post, by the way. And it's talking about like how Pornhub released the top porn searches during the election week. So that just goes to show you how crazy people were getting over everything going on out here. And I mean, people get crazy, like, besides this whole like stuff that was going on with like the election. But it's kind of interesting, like some of the things that a lot of people were searching, like state by state. Like,
okay. So are we ready for this? Because I read this story to Izzy and he just said to me, huh? Like, what are some of them? And I'll try to keep it as PC as possible because there are some weird searches that went down in this.
Oh, yeah, you can just say it.
And I was just like, are you kidding me when I saw this story? And I was like, okay, like this is how I guess this is how we're doing it. So if you tell me a state, I'll do the best of my ability to tell you what that state had. Okay.
Okay, brother. And I'm thinking probably we might as well just start with New York City.
Okay. So when I saw this one, I said, holy crap. And by the way, if you want to comment on this story while we're talking about it, go down in our comments section on the Nick and Izzy page, and you see us live right now. You'll see the red live thing on our video. Drop a like, say hi, share the video, and tell us what you think about the states. All right. So you want to take a guess if you remember what New York was or no?
I think it had something to do with see, it's so crazy the searches though. I think it has something to do with like cream pie or something.
No, not that state. Not New York.
That's something
New New York. So this was the 2020 election week top relative searches. New York, and we have some fetishes in New York because New York, the top search was foot job.
Oh my gosh. But you know what's funny though about that, brother? Like now that I think about it, there's a lot of apartments in New York City, and we have a lot of clubs and a lot of bars. So I'm sure like maybe like, some nights people might have been like, can I come to your apartment and play with your feet?
Oh, shit.
They might have, hey. They might have. They might have.
All right. You want to give me another state?
Yeah, let's go with Florida. I'm going to go down south and see what they're talking about.
Now, it's not all porn searches. Some of them are. Some of them were just relative top searches. Florida is the most obvious. It's Trump.
And they searched for Donald Trump for a porn search on Pornhub.
Yes.
So, wait a minute. Do these people think that, like, President Trump is out there on Pornhub, like, naked, like, doing his thing?
Don't say that. Oh, God.
Do people really think that? I mean, hey, people are really, like, that's crazy, though. I mean, what about, like, Mississippi, though?
All right. Let me see if I can find Mississippi. I don't see it here at the moment.
I've had stuff that people have said to me before personally, but I can't really go into too much of that though, because it was kind of just like it's like R-rated, and we don't want to,
Oh, here's Mississippi. Mississippi apparently doesn't know how to spell, unfortunately. So
really
they put prawn instead of porn. So they put PRON instead of PORN.
That's oh my gosh. Well, Mississippi is kind of hard to spell though. They used to always make fun of me because I would call it like MISSIPPPPPI, whatever it is. I didn't know how to spell that. I was just like, hey.
So yes, that's their search. You want to give me another one?
Yeah, let's do one more, brother. I would say actually, let's go with Georgia.
Wait, which one?
I would say Georgia, me, or whatever one you want to. I'm thinking Georgia.
Well, I'll give you two because we talked about these two last night when it came up. So Montana, and Montana was the one you said first when we first started this conversation.
Oh, about the cream pie,
anal cream pie. And
yeah.
By the way, I apologize if my mother's watching this right now because a lot of times she watches the videos when we're doing these live.
Mrs. Morganson, this is some crazy stuff, and I mean, it's just one of those things to where, it's real. Like, this is what people are actually, like, doing, and people may not even realize it either, but, yeah, it's real.
It's very real, and I was very confused. And Washington State. Washington State is double penetration. They were searching during the election week. What is going on with the United States, everybody, that they're looking up these crazy porn searches during election week?
But I'll tell you, though, brothers and sisters, it's one of those things to where, I mean, that will take your mind off of everything.
No shit.
It will. It will, though. But, hey, I mean, enjoy your life. Like, live it up, baby. Do your thing. I always say.
If you're joining us for the first time, hi. And if you're getting to know our show for the first time, yes, we're crazy people who look at a lot of different stories and angles of things. So thanks for joining us. Follow the show at Nick and Izzy Show and leave us a comment. As I said, you see it on the scrolling bar on the bottom. At Nick and Izzy Show at gmail.com. If you have your crazy stories you want to tell us, and if you have a comment, drop it on our live stream right now and we'll pop them up on the screen. But when I saw the story, I had to tell Izzy, I said, holy you know what.
Oh gosh, though, brother. I mean, it's just out of control though. But you know what though, there's probably a lot more worse stuff out there. I bet you there's articles from and stories about what people search on these porn sites on different websites and stuff that we might not even know about, because I'm telling you, it's really just oh gosh, it's out of control. Now, see, let me ask you about this though, brother, because this is also very crazy right here. And I read this just now, and take a listen to this though, family. So apparently, some inventors of a new app claim that it can translate whatever cats say when they purr. Like, when cats do like that, they do something in nature. But I know that was like a terrible purr, probably. But according to the Daily Mall, Meow Talk, which I'm assuming is the app,
Yes.
claims it can currently identify up to 13 different meanings, including feed me, leave me alone, I'm in love, when your cat is making noise. And apparently, the vocabulary will reportedly continue to expand as more cat sounds are submitted by cat owners who use the app. See, that's like very interesting right there, because I've always said to myself with animals, though, and I really believe that animals are trying to tell you something, but we just don't really understand what they're saying. And it's amazing that we actually have technology, which I kind of had a feeling it was coming, though, to be able to see what cats and dogs and animals are really saying. The only animal that I can probably think of, well, maybe it's two, is a monkey and also a parrot, though, because let me tell you something. I went into people's houses before. Pretend I got glasses. And I'm telling you, though, guys, I've seen parrots like actually talk to somebody and have a full conversation. Like I walked into my friend's house one day down the street and she got a parrot. And that parrot looked at me and I thought it was her talking. And she was like, "Oh, hey, Isaiah, how you doing?" And I was just like, "What?" Like, and I started bugging out because I'm just like, "Did you say something, Melissa?" And she was just like, "Oh, no, that's my friend talking, my parrot." And I was like, "Oh,
Oh no.
but that's really interesting, though. I mean, if your freaking parrot is talking like that and your animal can talk like that, I mean, that's really interesting. But it's going to be interesting to see how that really works out, though, with cats, though, because cats do purr a lot and they sure do meow when they want something, though.
By the way, I hate to make this joke because it's going to sound as cliche as it is, but I guess now you're going to have more pussy talk, right?
Oh, yeah, probably. Because you know cats, that's what people also call them, too.
Oh, you didn't laugh at it. Okay, never mind.
Well, I knew what you meant, though. I totally knew what you meant, though, about pussy talk, because you know pussy cat. But,
There's two cliches in that manner right there, but okay. But just to go back, because I was looking at this app and I said, wow, like this is really cool. And it's based on a guy named Javier Sanchez, a former engineer on Amazon's voice assistant, Alexa. And we're noticing that Alexa has a lot of different new technologies when it comes to voice assisting technology. And I'm a little skeptical because I don't know if you can actually tell what a cat is actually saying based off their purring or their meowing. But it's interesting just to see where this will actually happen. And, Sanchez is quoted as saying this will enable them to communicate with their cat or at least understand their cat's intent and build a very important connection. Because we all know that owners and their what's the word I'm looking for? Pets.
Yeah.
Try to develop a connection with one another. I was going to say animals, but that seemed a little bit grotesque. But, yeah.
Oh, no, definitely, brother. I mean, dogs are smart as hell. I mean, I have my neighbor's dog that right now, like, it's so funny because when she wants something to eat, the first thing she'll do is she'll put she'll put her paw on your leg, and then she'll put her other paw, actually. See, I'm saying hands, actually. It's just if humans. Oh, my goodness. It's been one of those days today, child. I'm saying that as if cats and dogs have hands, but they have paws. But she's so cute because she puts her little head and her little paw like on my leg, and she keeps looking at me. She licks her lips, and but deep down, she's like, "Oh, give me some food.
Give me food, damn it."
Yeah, animals are crazy when that happens, though. But it's just amazing, though, to me. But I'll tell you, though, they always say that a man is a dog's best friend and a dog's best friend. They always say that, though, because I know some people that say, and this sounds crazy to say this, though, brother, but some people say that like their animals are better than actual people that they know, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. But it happens, though. I know people like that have dogs, and they're like, dude, my dog is better than some of humans. I'm just like, guys, is it really that bad, though? Like, what? I don't know. People are just so out of control.
Hey, a lot of people are spending time with their pets now because they have nothing else better to do because they can't really leave their house unless they're deemed essential workers. But yeah. I want to go to one more story because I shared this with you as well, and it has to do with meteors. Remember I was telling you about this, Izzy?
Yeah.
So this man in Indonesia, And this was such a bizarre and odd story because you know that it's rare that meteors make it through the atmosphere. So once they cross a couple levels of the atmosphere, they usually burn up.
Right.
So all of a sudden, this guy named, and I apologize if I completely butcher your name in this story, but Joshua Hutagulag, I tried, of Indonesia, was a pretty lucky guy. This is off Ryan Seacrest's site because he gets all these interesting stories and everything. So
yeah, it's really interesting.
So this guy is a coffin maker. Have you ever wondered what being a coffin maker is like?
I never had before, but that has something definitely to do with like the industry of, funeral homes and things like that.
So he's a coffin maker, was working in front of his home when a 5-pound meteorite hit his house.
Mm.
And sure enough, Joshua was lucky that no one got hurt when the space rock crashed through his roof and buried itself 6 inches deep into his garden.
That's deep. I mean, I can't even imagine that. Like, just a meteorite or like something like that, or a plane, like God forbid, like hit your home. Like that would be some scary stuff. That's why I've always wondered, because I have an uncle that lives in California, and they have a lot of earthquakes out there in Cali. And I mean, like that must be scary as heck, man. I mean, you're like sitting in your house and the ground is shaking, and like anywhere you go around there, the ground shakes. That's a lot of scariness. So I don't know if I'd be able to do something like that, but that's and that thing's probably hot as hell too, since it's a meteorite.
So here, I'll tell you the rest of the story. So the meteorite was 4.5 billion years old.
That's crazy, dude.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah, oh my gosh. It just goes to show like how long those things could really like last too.
And by the way, it was worth over $1 million.
Really?
Yep, it was worth over $1 million. So Joshua spoke about when the meteorite struck. He was working on a coffin near the street in front of my house when I heard a booming sound that made my house shake. A 5-pound meteor made his house shake. It was as he said, quote, "It was as if a tree had fallen on us." The 33-year-old and his wife dug the rock out of the ground, noting when I lifted it, the stone was still warm and I brought it into the house. So like you said, it was hot.
Oh, I can only imagine, because I mean it has to be, being that it's from like space too,
So he gets it in the house, and there's some pictures here as well. It's incredible what it looks like. And so the meteorite was analyzed and classified as a CM half carbon. And these are all science terms. I was never the best at science, by the way, so bear with me. Carbonaceous chondrite. And for all the science nerds out there, if you know how to pronounce that, let me know. Which is extremely rare and carries what is considered to be the chemical building blocks for early life in the solar system.
Really?
Is that incredible?
That's crazy. I mean, I've never even like really, thought about that with the solar system before.
So word got out about the meteorite, and a Bali-based expert, Jared Collins, was sent to secure it. And he said, my phone lit up with the crazy offers for me to jump on a plane and buy the meteorite. So he said, I carried as much money as I could muster and went to find Joshua, who turned out to be a canny negotiator. And Collins would end up giving Joshua an amount that equals 30 years' salary for a coffin maker. 30 years' salary! Can you imagine getting 30 years' salary?
Oh, I mean, that's perfect. You ain't have to work anymore after that, though.
Well, but
you might still have to a little bit, though. But
So the rock has since been shipped to Indianapolis, where it's been added to the meteorite aficionado J. Piatek's collection. I don't know what that is, but that's where it is. And as for Joshua, this is where I thought the story related to you. This next part of the story. So, as for Joshua, he plans to retire and build a church in his community.
See, that's like amazing, brother. It's like that, and that's what I would do too. I mean, if I had money like that, like I would definitely go and build like something like a church or like a community center, like in my local neighborhood or either in like my local town or something like that. Cause see, that's awesome. That's like stuff that like people can really go by and they can like meet new people and they can really like do some good things for like the area that they live in.
Right. And I'll go one step further. However, that's not the father of the three boys' his only hope. So he's a father. He's got three boys. He wants to build a church in his community. And he stated, I've also always wanted a daughter, and I hope that this is a sign that I'll be lucky enough now to have one.
I might have to get myself a meteorite. No, just kidding. I mean, that makes sense. That's very rare for that to end up happening, though. I mean, that's something to where it's like,
it's crazy. It's like 1 in a million.
Oh, or more. Yeah, brother.
1 in a billion, maybe. But I just thought that was a cool story. I knew you could relate to it in that regard to that last part of the story. And yeah, I think that's pretty much, we made it through all the stories. Do you have anything else you want to add?
Oh, man. I think we're good for tonight, actually, brother, because I actually have some food that's upstairs that I'm like, oh, my God. Because I haven't really ate, like, too much today, so I'm kind of hungry. But
I know, yeah. I have frozen yogurt waiting downstairs also.
Oh, my God, you bastard. Still love you, though. But, yeah, no, I mean, thank you so much, brothers and sisters, for stopping by. You know, when you're scrolling on your news feed on your phone or your
look, we've grown a bunch. Like it's crazy.
Definitely. Like, yeah. I mean, it's been like phenomenal though. And shout out to you too, Facebook, you know, for doing your thing with the advertising and everything like that though, because that's really, you guys are amazing though. I mean, they've been really helping us, and you know, we've been doing our thing too though, like, you know, putting the content out. But yeah, no, Facebook's great.
So if you want to find us, like I said, Facebook.com/Nick and Izzy Show, Twitter.com/Nick and Izzy Show, right? Nick and Izzy Show on YouTube. You can find us on there. And if you want to email us, nickandizzy@gmail.com. Tell us your crazy stories, and like mine, where you get on the wrong train and you realize that you're sitting there for 5 minutes and you're wondering why the train's not moving. So I think that's...
Sorry, Nick, I said to laugh at that because that's so funny though. Like, oh my God.
So just try to be positive. We got away from politics because we feel we want to bring some happiness to what's going on in the world. And by the way, I have a little teaser for our next episode, actually.
Yes.
So, you know, we had Kyle, our coworker, on, who works with us at WABC.
We did, yes. And he is a great guy. Too, Kyle.
We have an unbelievable episode for you. It's going to be Izzy versus Nick pitted against one another in a game of Jeopardy.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. Yeah, you guys won't want to really miss that one because that's going to be something. And I've never played Jeopardy before, and I have the board game actually sitting right like back there in my cabinet.
No, but this is going to be unbelievable because Kyle designed the whole thing. He reenacted the whole thing. We showed it on an episode a few weeks ago, remember?
We did, yes. And he's amazing, though. I mean, you guys have to see this. The animations and stuff that this kid has done it's just phenomenal, though. We're going to do that next week, though, definitely.
So we're literally going to be on the game of Jeopardy in like a virtual studio that looks like Jeopardy. All the categories are going to come up. You'll hear the Jeopardy sounds. You'll see us with our totals, and we'll be able to buzz in, and it's going to be an unbelievable time. So make sure you join us next week when the next edition of Nick and Izzy Show goes live, because we are going to be playing Jeopardy, and Kyle Hershon, who's our coworker, is going to be playing the role of Alex Trebek, who, rest in peace, we did an episode. So if you want to go check that out, that's on YouTube as well. We did our little heartfelt tribute for him. So go check that out as well. But I think we're done here. So for Izzy Richardson, I'm Nick Morgeson. This has been the Nick and Izzy Show, and we will see you next week.
Have a good night, brothers and sisters. Just remember, #Izzy loves you.